All right, we are green. Brothers and sisters, we are coming a little bit early on this one. It's a live mid-afternoon because this is incredibly important. We now have 23 states that just filed an amicus brief to tell the SCOTUS to get off their butts and take the sensitive places case coming out of Hawaii, otherwise known as Wolford versus Lopez. Guys, this one is picking up steam. I'm going to show you everybody who's jumping on this one of all the gun rights groups. Think of this as like birds circling in the air. When they start circling in the air around the exact same thing and they all start taking pot shots at it, that's going to be the one to pay attention to. Everything that I'm about to show you is going to be linked in the description box below. I always bring the receipts. And guys, a lot of you are responding really well to hitting that subscribe button because seriously, it's like swimming with an anchor, as I said in my earlier video today. Please, if you guys want to defeat that YouTube defeatism up from the algorithm and make the subscription of freedom go further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. It helps me out tremendously because it's a thing right now for all of us. All right, guys, as you're getting in here, thank you so much for tuning in a little bit earlier than normal. This one came out within the hour, and I wanted to get all the stuff for you and show you which 23 states just jumped on deck. This is sweet because now you have the federal government through the DOJ. You have 23 states, AGs, that are coming out and saying, hey, SCOTUS, you need to get on this. You've got the NRA, you've got CRPA, you've got NAGR, you've got GOA. Guys, you got everybody. The wolves are circling, and I'm freaking here for it. All right, let's get into this. Of course, make sure you follow me at Braden LOA, where we talk about all this stuff and have a lot more fun as well at the lefty's expense. I'll be quite candid with you. At Braden LOA on X. All right, let's get right into this. If you guys are not familiar and you do not remember or are not aware, last week, we had the DOJ, the Trump administration, filed its first pro-Second Amendment amicus brief. The DOJ wants the Supreme Court to strike down Hawaii's unconstitutional Bruin response legislation heavily restricting concealed carry. So that's coming from the Department of Justice. That is actually from the federal government for the first time ever arguing on behalf of gun owners of American citizens, telling the government to back the F off. First time ever. That was last week. Well, now, let me show you what this is. And guys, if you're just now getting in here, make sure you send this one out because this dropped within, seriously, under an hour ago. So now 26 states and the federal government are asking for cert in Wolford. The interlocutory case excuse, always unserious in constitutional disputes, would be even more untenable. At minimum, if the court doesn't want the case till final judgment, it should stay to Ninth Circuit and re-implement the district court injunction pending final judgment. So what he's saying there is basically like, get rid of the Ninth Circuit, put a stay on it, the same way they put the stay on the Second Circuit with the Antonyuk case. It's all about sensitive places. And if you're keeping track at home, you now have the Antonyuk case out of New York in the Second Circuit. You got the Wolford versus Lopez case in Hawaii out of the Ninth Circuit. Are you seeing where this is going? There's a reason that these groups are circling around these two on different ends of the freaking continent. Well, not even the continental, of the United States footprint. Guys, this is a big thing. You're going to hear a lot more about this, but let me show you the actual document, and I'm going to show you all the states and everything. So I always bring receipts. It's linked in the description box below for your convenience. But what we're looking at right here is this May 5th entry right here. Amicus brief of states of Montana, Idaho, and 23 other states and the Arizona legislature. I'm going to show you the document right now. Before I get into the actual document though, this is CRPA. They got an amicus brief. This is NRA. They got an amicus brief. Guys, when they start circling like this, I'm telling you, read the tea leaves, all right? There's something bigger going on behind the scenes, and I can't give you all the details, but I'm telling you there's something going on. All right. This is the brief for the states of Montana, Idaho, 23 other states, and the Arizona legislature, amici curiae in support of the petitioner and reversal. Now, I'm going to show you all the states here in a second at the end of this, but I want to show you something that they're hitting on, and I'm going to scroll right down right here into the little primer, okay? This is the table of authorities, okay? So this is what they're pulling from in this argument. If you guys are just now getting in here, please send this out because 26 states just joined the DOJ of the United States government in fighting a Ninth Circuit decision, which is gun control, which is sensitive places, which also happens to affect the Antonyuk case. Guys, big one. All right, now we're back. So here's what they've pulled. And keep in mind, these cases that they're pulling are really important. Here's the Antonyuk case. There's the Bianchi case. Here's the Heller decision. Here's the Duncan decision. The Duncan again. You've got the Heller decision, the Connellsburg. You've got all the big boys that are coming out to play, including McDonald right there and the Bruin decision. And you have the Rahimi decision. Guys, they are collecting all the ammunition that they freaking need. This is a brief that you're going to want to read. I can't read the entire thing because these briefs are long on these videos, but it's linked in the description. Now let me just get into the introduction, and then I will show you the conclusion because that's important. Now this is the introduction, and I just want to read this really quickly because 26 states jumped onto this. Just a few years ago, this court reminded lower courts that the right to keep and bear arms is not a second-class right, subject to an entirely different body of rules than the other Bill of Rights guarantees. That's the Bruin decision. Yet courts across the country continue to defer to legislative judgments regarding firearm regulations despite Bruin's declaration that judicial deference to legislative interest balancing is not the deference that the Second Amendment demands. Okay, they're going straight after Bruin, and you know all those things that a lot of you have said in my comments for the last year and a half about, so the Bruin decision gets passed, and SCOTUS says it, and then the states just ignore it, and there's no follow-up. This is the follow-up right here. They're referencing what these states are doing in the Bruin response bills. All right, now let me just keep on going. You can see Heller. I've already shown you what they're actually pulling from. But let me get into this, because it's all about Hawaii sensitive places. I'm going to get down to the end of the conclusion, because I'm going to keep this video as short as I can so you guys can spread this out. Sorry, we're just going to scroll for a second together. That's whatever. It's a long document. I don't want to make you guys sick, but sorry, I got to get to the bottom. You know what? I don't want to do it. Hold on. I'm going to just, there we go. All right. Now here's the states that are involved, so you can be proud or you can be sad, depending on where you are in this great, amazing nation. Respectfully submitted, Austin Knudsen. He's a little rising star, by the way. Cool dude, too. You've got, that's Montana. You've got Idaho. You have the following states here. Additional signatories. Attorney General of Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, Nebraska. Andrew Bailey from Missouri, by the way. Special shout out. Big star right there. Attorney General of North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, Wyoming, Arizona Senate, which basically means they circumvented the AG there, and the Speaker of the Arizona House of Representatives. Now, guys, if you're just now tuning in, you're talking about 26 different states with a mixture of legislatures and Senate from different states who the AGs didn't sign on, who are telling SCOTUS to get off their butts and actually do something. Enforce your own ruling, along with the DOJ, GOA, NAGR, NRA, CRPA, okay? Again, all of these people are filing over this thing, and this is where I want to wrap this entire video in a second, because you have to understand when the wolves are circling, the sharks are circling, the birds are circling, the reason that they all circle over the exact same people, the same place and the same location is because it has the most vulnerabilities. If you think about the case in Hawaii, which is pretty dramatically unconstitutional with the sensitive places brand and variety that they offered there, you know, the spirit of aloha, right? That whole thing. And then you look over at New York, which has the Antonyuk case, and then you look at Illinois, and then you look at California, you look at all the big aggressors against the Second Amendment. This is the one that would pull the thread that would make them all redo all their Bruin response bills. Okay, so they went and said, hey, we're going to do sensitive places because, yeah, we're going to give you the concealed carry permit, but you can't carry it basically like green eggs and ham style. You can't carry it here, you can't carry it on a train, can't carry it on the rain, can't carry it with a hat, you know, all these different things. That was their response. These states and the DOJ, for the first time in history, just said, hey, SCOTUS, you might want to get off your butt and enforce your own rulings because they're all ignoring you. They're making a mockery of your ruling in the Bruin decision. Guys, this is a big deal. DOJ, one more time, DOJ, 26 states, NRA, they're in there. CRPA, GOA, NAGR. Guys, the wolves are circling, and for once, I'm going to be honest with you, it's really nice to be on the wolf side of this because I want a snack. I want a freedom snack. And I'm sure you guys do too. Make sure you send this one out. Thank you so much for tuning in a little earlier than normal, but this broke and I wanted to get it to you guys, so make sure everyone you know knows about it because this is not a small deal. And I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.